Welcome to the Maine Famous podcast. I'm your host, April Shaw-Beaudoin, and this season I'm joined by my co-host, Vanessa Santarelli of Your Maine Concierge. Today we're sitting down with two people who have shaped the food scene on both sides of the state, Mountain Social owner Cody Gordon and chef Brian Weber. If you've ever eaten at Project Social or Leary's Landing on MDI, you already know the level of care these two bring to a menu. In this episode, we get into the story behind Mountain Social, what it's like to run restaurants in two very different regions, the dishes they can't take off the menu, and the real lessons they've learned about building a team and a community. Make sure you subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. And now, a message from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Simon Griffiths, President and CEO of Camden National Bank. Camden National Bank is celebrating 150 years of standing beside the people, businesses, and communities that make Maine and New Hampshire home. And at the heart of it all is you. Every step of the way has been made possible because of your support. Even as we've grown, one thing has remained: our deep commitment to the communities we serve. We're not just here to offer financial guidance. We're here to show up, lend a hand, and be a true partner through life's big moments and everyday milestones. We're especially grateful to Maine Famous for shining a light on the local businesses and neighbors who shape the heart of the mountains regions in Maine. Thanks for being part of our story.
I have been in Bar Harbor all summer long. I've been on MDI and in the Down East region in general, and that is where I met Cody because he also owns a restaurant in Bar Harbor called Project Social, and even before that, you both had Leary's Landing, right?
Actually, Brian came on with us at Project Social. Leary's Landing was first.
Okay.
My wife and I, Lena, and then Brian came on about 5 years ago when we moved Project Social over to its current location.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let Vanessa share a little bit. She's been to Leary's Landing. She's been to Project Social. She's been to Mountain Social.
Couple times.
She is going to add some color in as to why we decided you two were the perfect guests for this season.
Cody called me one day. No, no, actually, yes. So I've been going to all over the state of Maine for my entire career and life, but particularly up on Mount Desert Island and Bar Harbor. Was a regular customer at Leary's. Awesome convivial vibe in there with the pub style fare and great Scotch and whiskey selection, an Irish whiskey selection. And then at Project Social, I think one of the most incredible atmospheres and menus available up on the island. And then when I found out that Cody and Lena and Brian were going to open Mountain Social here, I was so excited because I knew that more exceptional food and drink were coming to the Western Mountain region. And we partnered on an event actually last year, and we're still hearing rave reviews from our guests. So it's great to be here with you guys at Modern Barn, another fantastic restaurant here in town, and excited to get into this conversation because I have some fun questions for these guys.
Vanessa was truly laughing as she was going over her questions before your interview, so you better buckle up.
Get ready.
So I would love to hear from you. I know, Cody, that you live down in South Berwick.
Yes, that's kind of a new development. We've been about a year down there. But for the most part, we were year-round in Bar Harbor for many years until we opened Mountain Social. And then we actually, for 2 years, were here just for winter season and took my daughter out of school and homeschooled her for a little bit.
Wow.
She helped us get the restaurant running, which was really cool.
Oh, okay.
So this time we moved for schooling, which is really nice to do something in return for her for being with us on this ride.
I think when we were talking before, you said you actually had to get her clearance and her blessing before you opened this restaurant.
We did. It was a big part of it. We asked her, we said, hey, we're thinking about opening a restaurant in Bethel, close to Sunday River, where she's skied with us before. And she really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. So we're like, what do you think about skiing all winter and mom teaching you school for a little bit? And she said, yeah. So she's been part of the journey the whole way. And actually she worked in one of the restaurants this year for the first time too, a couple days a week.
She was fantastic too. She was really great.
And how old is she now?
She turns 9 in 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best host on the island.
Seriously. So professional.
Definitely cutest.
Yes.
I've
the
watched her pull
cutest.
people off the street. They were like looking at the menu and just comes out. Come on in, guys. I'm like, you've got this. I'm retired already.
I would love to hear how you met Chef and where that all started.
Yeah. We met him because Project Social was in a smaller location at one point, and we were looking to grow, and we found this beautiful garden that we wanted to move into, and we needed somebody other than me to be able to run the kitchens and a few other things. We just needed the extra hands, and it was time to grow. And we put an ad out, and he responded. When he first talked with us, he just moved back to Maine from spending some time, a lot of time actually, in Colorado, and where he really got his chops for cooking. And then we met, we had a conversation, and it just was kind of, it made sense. And since we've been stuck together for 5 years now. We just finished 5 years.
No, it's been quite the ride. So I was working on the other side of the island, and I was very straightforward and honest with my chef team above me that I will be leaving you at some point, but I wanted to be very, very clear with them and let them know I'll be your number 3, but I don't always want to be a number 3. And they knew Cody, and I applied, and we kept the communication chain open, and I worked with them for a number of months, even after I had come on board with Cody and Lena, and then decided I needed to devote full time to making his 35-40 seat restaurant into 130. So we started that ride, and it's been smooth sailing since. So
I mean, such smooth sailing that you decided to come to Bethel.
basically we took and created a larger restaurant from Cody and Lena's original plan. I looked at their menu and I looked at their space and basically went through and took every single recipe that was written for 1 9-pan, which in our restaurant talk is the smallest form of measurement, and probably multiplied by 1,000 to get us to a place where it could keep up with the volumes that we were looking at. And then, we decided to have a conversation September, early August of one year that was along the lines of, hey, if this thing would happen, would you want to be interested, or would you be on board? We only want to do it if you want to be part of it. And, I think I took maybe 10 minutes to go home and have a conversation with my wife, and we were all on board. So then we came down here, and that was a wonderful 7-month adventure to, go in there and take a restaurant that was a previous space and sort of make it our own.
And the previous restaurant was called Brian's. So
Brian's.
when you,
So it just happened to be
and it was great.
fate.
Yeah, I love those owners too.
Can you talk about the similarities and also the differences between Project Social and Mountain Social's menu?
Sure. I think Mountain Social had their menu based on projects. So Small Plates was by nature the design of the restaurant, but then coming down to the après-ski post cold mountain vibes, we decided we needed to put some larger plates on there. So we took a few commonalities in ingredients and recipes from Project, and then added ribeyes and pork chops and homemade pastas, which are always an interest of mine, and risottos, and then created something that we thought worked well with the area that would answer a lot of people's needs as far as a variety of offerings, and also catering to the different allergens and different sensitivities we have out there. So
we did similar with the cocktail too, where it was the cocktail program mostly came from what we were already doing there, but we had to put a spin on a few things to really make them feel more like they belonged here, whether it was changing up an old fashioned or things like that. But there's a couple of cocktails that are very specific to here that we've never taken back up there, and a few up there that we haven't taken here. And then we have, they usually change twice a year based on what we've done in the past at either of the restaurants. We'll steal from both for the other, which is kind of fun.
That is really fun. Are people ever like, wait, did I see you in Bar Harbor when they come into Mountain Social, or vice versa?
Yes. Or they've seen a cocktail which has
Okay.
been funny too, because that's what they notice first, or his kale and Brussels salad, which is one that we can't get away from serving.
The Pineapple Express with
And the
the
Pineapple
with the
Express
foam
is one that
is like
people
the
see it.
signature. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are definitely things that we knew when we came down here we had to bring because they were just core components of the menu that even if they didn't take off, we were going to bring them to start because we knew they had been successful in Bar Harbor and was a good foundation and a good place to build off of. There are definitely things that we can try up there and have used up there that won't work down here and vice versa. Our plates up there are all small plates by design, which sort of creates this, I think, amazing community and discussion because everyone is passing and sharing and tasting different elements. Down here, we wanted to be a little bit more traditional in design, more formal in the sense that a four top will have four entrees and they'll all go out relatively at the same time. Sometimes, obviously, things come up, but our design down here was really to fill the need, which was high quality food delivered in a timely fashion using the best ingredients we can find. And I think our chef team over there, our front of the house team, have done an amazing job keeping the dream alive, if you will, and always contributing. Cody and I both have ideas and we start with those, but then it's about, getting the people under you or that work with you to also be creative, to also realize that you can't do the same thing every day. You have to come in and add variety. That's what keeps us going and keeps us inspired and keeps us interested in the job.
Are you saying instead of 2 duck tacos on a plate, which I get in Bar Harbor, I will see 4 duck tacos on a plate because it's heartier here?
If you order
Inquiring
2 rounds.
minds want to know. I want all the duck tacos that he makes.
You
Let
have
me
to
just say.
order 2 rounds.
Sorry, they're just so good.
That's okay.
I have
Yes.
to. I have to.
Our duck tacos were definitely something that we started with. Everybody can put a taco on the menu. I think we wanted to do something that was unique and different. So, we get whole ducks, we break them down, we marinate them, then we braise them, and then the process of shredding them comes around. And our prep cooks might not exactly like that job. It is very laborious, just like shaving Brussels sprouts. But we found different ways to make it more efficient. And different tools that they can use to help improve the process and keep it consistent. But duck tacos won't leave the menu. Kale salad won't leave the menu. Butternut soup, those are some staples that will always be there.
Well, I'm just curious. I asked the funny questions.
That's good. My daughter asked me
Not
to
the
say a joke
serious
while I was
ones.
here.
I'm just curious about whether either of you or if both of you have any culinary or cocktail pet peeves. I'll tell you
like to
my
start?
culinary pet peeve, pickled red onions. I can't do them. I hate them. I love red onion.
Interesting.
That's my pet peeve.
We'll put them all over your duck tacos.
I know. No, but I'm curious about yours. What do you have?
Well, I love pickled things, so I'm sorry that we don't agree on that specific area. But someone said that it was the Pickle Palace one time when they walked downstairs in our prep space, and vinegar and salt and bay leaves and spices were just oozing through their pores. So we do a lot of pickling, but as far as pet peeves, I'm big on cleanliness in the kitchen. I'm really big on finishing tasks. And I think every chef will tell you that communication is the key to really make the world go round. I find that in my line of work and with the people that I have surrounded myself with, there is no over communicating. So tell me, call me, text me, whatever you need, especially if I'm not there. I'd rather know than have something happen that will be difficult for us to come back from. So
I'll drink anything you put in front of me. So I don't really have cocktail pet peeves. I would like to see some people do, some basic things a little better when I'm in restaurants sometimes, Like you should be able to make a margarita if you're going to put a fancy cocktail on a menu. So it's usually when people can't get back to basics that bothers me. That's about it.
Okay, cool.
And let me just jump right back in. There isn't anything across the board in the liquor side or the bar side or the culinary side that hasn't already been done at some point. So it's really about how people add their own flair, add their own technique, make their own, that dish their own, that cocktail their own. So when it comes to, what you might say, how do you get inspiration or how do you learn new things? It's a lot of reading and ingesting and sort of taking in all those things you see. And then you might find that this place is doing something very similar to us. This place is doing something very similar to us. And, imitation is flattery. So we'll take that. But I think if we're all using those skills and using those things we learn from other people, we're actually building everyone up. We're lifting each other
That's
up.
what it really comes from,
That's what
right?
it
It's
needs.
remembering where we came from. Like somebody did this before us, and giving homage to the whole industry is important. Like just going in and saying, I'm going to make everything different, and forgetting that somebody was there before you and that you should actually think and care about every part of what you're doing.
Well, I was actually going to pick up on something you guys were just saying about whether past or present, if there's a food trend that you consider like a culinary trend or a food trend or a cocktail trend that you consider annoying. I mean, so obviously like the espresso martini. I mean, I was in bars where they would have a sign on the wall that said, "No, we will not make you an espresso martini." Some of our friends the other day said, if you order a mojito, the answer is no. So I'm just curious, there are food trends, there are cocktail trends. Are any annoying to you particularly?
It's generally not the the item. It's probably annoyance to me, the people. Some of the people and their approaches and techniques, which someone might say about me, but the approaches and techniques are what I might see as annoying. I have
From the chef team, or not about customers, but about how
about customers, about employees in the back of the kitchen, in the front of the house, the dynamic things that we do as a team can always be improved. So that's why taking the steps away or coming down to the mountains gives me a day or two away from the Bar Harbor restaurants. And then you see things in each of your different locations that you like and you want to emulate and you want to continue with, and then things that you don't like that need to be corrected. So I don't necessarily find that there are trends that are annoying to me, other than the fact that I think we're moving away from the real high class fine dining. I think as a trend, people are looking for more comfort. They're looking for not necessarily larger portions, but they're looking for a little bit less pretension and being able to go to an environment that they feel comfortable eating there. They don't feel like they're being judged or analyzed. We all have opportunities to spend money at thousands of different restaurants. So it's where do you want those funds to go and whose bottom line are you going to help?
I mean, I guess that goes into the fact that rather than new trends, old trends of a white tablecloth, it had its place. And I think that you can have a meal at a restaurant and a really incredible meal, or enjoy a really beautiful atmosphere without having a white tablecloth. And I think that's what a trend that we are going towards, which is good rather than bad. Signs saying we're not going to make you something, that's a trend I'm not into.
That was in Charleston, South Carolina. It wasn't a Maine restaurant. I have to say that.
If you ask me for something, I can say no, but I'm not going to put a sign up that says that. I'm going to say I don't have fresh mint right now, or I have zero access to coffee, but I'm not going to put a sign up that says no espresso martinis.
Zero access to
I don't
coffee.
like that. That's like a straight up from the very time you walk up to a place, just a cold shoulder, which is not really what you want when you're going to a restaurant.
I like it.
One thing that I'm thinking about right now as I'm listening is just the hospitality scene in Maine. And you have been in Bar Harbor, which is the most visited place in Maine, I think. Vanessa might correct me. I know Acadia. Acadia is the most visited spot in Maine, and I think Bar Harbor, a lot of people come over there after. And then coming here, where there's also a lot of visitors, a lot of tourists. What is similar and what is different about these two locations that attract massive amounts of people in their prime season?
People are in both locations for different things. So you attract a different kind of crowd at both times, but you do attract an active crowd in both of the places that we're in, which is nice. We are way more accessible here to other places than what Bar Harbor is.
Yeah.
So it's a lot further jaunt. So you end up, more weekend travel here and more full week travel there. So you end up seeing some of the same people, even though you see tons of people in Bar Harbor. You get locals because they're there for 3 nights out of their 1 week stay. Where here you end up with, they may come in 1 night, but you get the same people all the time here too, because it is so close. And in both locations, the people are why I love Maine. Whether it's the people that we work with or the people that actually come here and understand that, hey, it's okay to slow down and enjoy yourself while you're here. Like, enjoy your surroundings. We don't get a whole lot of over pretentious people who are coming in there like with their own mindset of how things should be. They walk in with a pretty open mind, which is nice for us.
That's really nice. I want to ask another follow-up question to that. Like, I kind of want to dive into this a little bit, and I want you to weigh in as well. So what has been the hardest lesson you have learned in hospitality? How long has it been since you opened Leary's Landing in Bar Harbor?
11 years.
11 years.
10 years for Project Social.
Okay.
The year after.
Okay. What do you think has been, if you were talking to someone who is about to open a restaurant in either Bethel or Bar Harbor, what would you say? You need to know this for year 1 if you want to be successful.
Great question.
You're going to work more than you've ever worked. Don't plan to own a restaurant because you think that there's less work involved. Plan to pick up a hammer or be under a sink or replace a toilet because you might have to. It's not because of anything other than it's necessity, where there's just not enough people to do those things, or there's an emergency in a restaurant pretty much daily. It could be small, it could be large, but always be ready to learn something new, because you're gonna.
I would say I've been here back in Maine for 5 years. I was out in Colorado and lived there for 20, and of that, most of it was spent in a different industry. I was in financial services, wealth management, advising, and customer service. So I sort of cold turkey quit and got into the culinary side. But having grown up in Bar Harbor, obviously hospitality, in my blood. My dad was the one that had a huge family, and all the brothers and siblings came to Maine every summer. So I was always the one that jumped in the kitchen with him and helped out, which sort of, segues into how I got into cooking. But as far as the, trends that I would see, or the lesson I've learned, definitely write everything down. Because when you expect and when you need that document, when you need that list, when you need that contact and you don't have it, you're going to wish you did. And then just make sure you have a plan and are consistent with giving yourself time to have a balance. I would say every kitchen chef or cook really at some point in their life struggles with a work-life balance. I invest a lot of time and energy into all facets of helping Cody run his business.
Kicked out a few times.
And my hours are, what I make of them, but I know my wife would tell you that I need to devote some more time to the home front, because that will in fact make you better at your profession, right? Being able to have that balance. So again, like I said, the lessons of writing things down, the lessons of having a plan, and the lessons of having those outside of work things to keep you lively and keep you interested and keeping you relevant are what I've learned.
Those are great answers.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a few statements I'd like your reactions to. React to the statement, the customer is always right.
This might be the reaction, but as Cody mentioned earlier, we don't like signs that say, no, that's not available. We have a menu, we have allergen sheets, we have everything made to be customer oriented. I think there are a lot of times when we all go out and we are in the dining mode that we know that in the back of our head, the customer always right statement, but we're not the ones telling someone that their steak is underdone or underseasoned, you know? So to be able to say the customer is always right, the customer, when they're coming into our restaurant and paying for what they want in their service, is right. Whether or not they fundamentally have an understanding of how that business operates or what was involved to make their cocktail or get the plate designed for them, I don't agree.
The customer is not always right, but you do not need to tell them that they're wrong.
Yeah,
That's where it really comes. That's the whole point of being hospitable. Like if they're not right, you don't have to say, yeah, no, that's not how things work. You can work with them to come to a solution to help them. You can also tell them no without them realizing you're telling them no.
Yeah.
It's all.
Give me an example.
A great example is when you walk into a restaurant and you see an open table. And the first thing you think is, I want that table. That should be my table. The easiest way to deter them is to tell them that it's very simple. It's a restaurant. Just because you see an open table doesn't mean it's available yet. Doesn't mean we can't find you a beautiful table over here that I think you're really going to like. They don't know everything, and they don't know where you're going to be able to seat them. So it's pretty easy to kind of move that kind of thing around. That's a small sampling of something.
But that example comes up all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was at a restaurant one time, and this couple was seated at a table that they didn't think was a good enough table for them, but the restaurant had seated every other table. And so they got into a fight, which I think, is totally bad behavior. I mean, I see that a lot. I hopefully am not guilty of it myself. But I also feel bad for staff in a restaurant who work so hard to be so accommodating, and then to have people who just, it's like you have the opportunity to come and have a beautiful evening here. Not everybody, especially in this economy, even can go out to dinner. And so, sometimes just putting into perspective, people are working hard. They're trying to be accommodating. You don't have to be a jerk and yell at people. So anyway.
You do see it less. I mean, than you did before. There are less demands of things like that than there ever were before.
What do you attribute that to?
Well, it's hard for us because there's really not a lot of bad tables in our restaurant. No, I think that people will become, honestly, I think COVID was a big help with that. I think people saw a really difficult time that happened, especially to hospitality in all forms. And they became, while they weren't patient during COVID, they learned to become patient after, because they were told many times that that's not how you're going to act here, because you can't. You couldn't then. And I think it helped change people's view of those particular situations. So they don't get as cranky or upset or not as willing to go off on somebody, which is nice.
1 point for COVID.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I do have the benefit, though, of being in the kitchen. So where front of the house, where servers and bartenders really have that interaction constantly, aside from walking through to assess the scene, aside from running food and helping our front of the house staff, I have the luxury of having a proverbial wall in front of my answers. Now, along those lines, when we look at plates, when we look at the creation of them, you could make it really complicated and put everything in sauces, everything in dressings, everything in the marinades, and then make it very hard to bend the rules, if you will, to people's allergies or people's preferences. But all of our restaurants are designed to have most of the primary allergens modifiable, so we can take and remove something if it has sesame in it. We can take and get rid of garlic. We can take and
just put the pickle red onions underneath the duck.
Well, so I was just going to say,
we can take dairy out of things. It is just about setting a communication, right?
Yep.
And setting the right expectations. Yes, it is a Friday and we have 17 tickets on the board, and you want something sauteed because you can't have the fat from the butter or you can't have the dairy. We'll do it, but we just have to make sure we'll communicate with our front of the house.
But can I have the kale and Brussels salad with the dressing on the side?
No. It's like I said, just communication and setting the right expectations. And I have that luxury of not having to directly speak with the customer in the sense of when there's a problem. So
That is a luxury.
it is a luxury, but I also enjoy the days that I run food. I also love running and touching tables and having conversations, because quite often or not, they ask me, oh, well, how is this prepared? Or how do you make this? How can I replicate it at home? And then I'm more than willing to give them recipes. I have a whole binder now set aside that's, a smaller version of whatever our most requested items are, which happen to be the kale Brussels salad, the miso vinaigrette for it, and the butternut soup.
You just got to convert from grams.
Yes. So Cody would always joke and say I have to convert for grams, and I always would put the regular recipe in there. So I would say find some friends, because this is going to make 20 quarts of soup. So there is both sides of it. So
Funny. Well, it's funny that there's, I was going to ask, but I think I'm going to ask the other one, because you answered the question about, I love the scenario that I hear oftentimes where the server comes to the table and says, do you have any food restrictions or food allergies or dietary restrictions? And they say, I'm gluten-free. Great. Okay, no problem. And then dessert course comes, and they go, oh no, I'm going to order this. And they go, oh, but that's not gluten-free. And they go, oh, I can cheat at dessert.
Yep, that happens all day, every day. And you slowly become better and better at deciphering through the tickets and realizing which person actually is celiac, which person has an intolerance, which person just doesn't like pickled red onions. They're not allergic to allium. They just don't like the vinegar, or they don't like
They're going to remember that forever with me.
So you
And
find
they're
a
gonna
way.
throw piles of it on my plate.
You look at the tickets, you realize, okay, this is this table. You go peek out and you look at the table and you're like, okay, they ordered these things. That's that person, I'm guessing. And then they're going to have this modified, right? So you go through the list, and then, you have that chuckle with the kitchen staff and say, yeah, turns out they can eat gluten, So, but that's okay. It's all preference. It's all, like Cody said, if we have a product in-house and we're able to do it, we're going to do it. It just might be setting the right expectations. So it's going to take a little bit longer. It's not going to be exactly how the menu says, and the flavors might be a little off.
You have a great attitude about it, though.
One of the things that I think is really unique to your interview is that you do have two different restaurants in two different areas. You have three restaurants in two different areas. And you have to become immersed in the community for the success of each of them. And I would love to hear from your perspective, what makes Bethel really special? Are there things that remind you of Bar Harbor? Are there things that are so different and you love them and you wish that you could bring them back to Bar Harbor?
There are things I wish I could bring back to Bar Harbor. Number one, some of our staff, we love them. The staff we have here is incredible.
Yeah.
Our front house manager here, we inherited her from the restaurant before. Well, I mean, I interviewed her and I said, can you please come? Even though she thought I was worried about her. But without them, we couldn't do any of it. And she's been integral, and she is part of this community.
Let's give her a call out.
Yeah, it's Kelly Glover, and she's absolutely incredible. If you hear her name almost on the street, anybody will know who she is for the most part. She's been around for a long time. And she helped me kind of integrate into the community too. Okay. So I got to meet the locals through her, which was really great. And I got to spend a lot of time with them. And I got to spend time with some of them. I got to spend some time with some of them in the winter by skiing early in the mornings. And they became regulars, and it's pretty awesome. The community here is really amazing. It's a big mesh of those who are here all year round and those who are here just for winter and those who are eventually going to be here all year round, which is really cool, which you get a little bit of in Bar Harbor too. The similarity of both places is that the restaurants and other people around you are all very welcoming and helpful to each other, which is awesome. We have almost 100 restaurants in Bar Harbor compared to the 12 here.
Wow.
But you get the same sense when it comes to that, which is really,
yeah,
really
that's
awesome.
really cool.
Yeah. I mean, we have a great partner here in Gemini that does a lot of our bread for us, which is really nice.
I think everyone in Bethel
We're going
today
tomorrow morning.
has talked
great
about
friends.
it.
Anna, Nicole, amazing. So great.
Yeah, we have to actually go see them tomorrow.
That's what I would bring to Bar
sourdough.
Harbor. Every single time I'm here, I try to put it in her ear. If she's like, I won't go up there during the summer, so no way.
Have you felt what have you felt for similarities and differences between Bar Harbor and Bethel?
I think, differences, I think they're very unique, different communities, right? I would say the majority of our staff here are professionals. They're professionals in the kitchen, and they're professionals in the front of the house. They know what they're doing, and they can, sell screen doors to a submariner. They're pros, and they love what they're doing. And some of them came with the restaurant, as Cody said, if you will. But the others we added to the team, and they care about what they're doing. They have families. They're dedicated and committed to the area. So here, that is a huge benefit. That's a difference between Bar Harbor, because Bar Harbor, a lot of our staff, front of the house or back of the house, are seasonal. Transient. Some are on visas. Some are, kids traveling across the country that want a job and are in our, are not our type, but our demographic, and they're the people we want, and they have the skills we need, right? So they're different, though, in the fact that where they will be this season will be different from where they are during the winter, will be different from where they are in the summer. And with that comes a certain not say laissez-faire, but it's a certain I'll be gone in 6 months, right? And that sometimes is hard, especially when you're in the kitchen, because you're retraining and you're retraining and retraining. And that can be hard on the bottom line, but it also can be hard on the hours of all the people that are put hours into getting those people up to speed. So that's a difference. Similarity, as Cody mentioned, that whole community, even though Bar Harbor is larger, the groups that you do business with, the groups that you associate with, are very tight knit and small, like down here, which makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel at home. And I don't spend as much time down here as Cody does, but when my wife and I come down, we can sit at the end of Mountain Socials Bar. We can come around town, and chances are I'll run into someone that I've met in my short time down here. And that always makes you feel good, knowing that you can jump right back into a conversation like you just had it yesterday. So
very cool.
Yep.
Where are you hanging out if you're not here? I know you ski at Sunday River, but where are you if you're going to go out, in town, if you have a moment to do that for lunch or supper or to see some live music?
Here in Bethel?
Yeah, or in Newry, Bethel Newry area?
I haven't been down most recently, other than this last trip today. Before that, for me, it's sort of like what's open on the days that I do come to town, which makes it a little difficult, because I'm not during the chunk of time when I will be here, will be during the week. So then it's like, okay, well, every town, every popular resort town, if you will, has certain days that certain things are open and certain days are closed. So I always just bounce between whichever one is open at that time, which makes it a little bit difficult. But when I am here, I go to Lemieux, I go to Gemini. It occupies most of my time, and Steam Mill for people and for food, and just as far as music, I used to go to the Mount Abrams. Played music over there, their Loose Boots area. So that was fun. But I'm looking forward to coming down again and, staying on some weekends and coming down with my family and wife. And
fun.
We've missed karaoke with Scott. We haven't done it yet at Chosun. He keeps trying to get me to go. I'm not a karaoke person, but I do like to watch a train wreck. So I haven't been, but I've always heard good things.
I'm happy to provide that for you.
No karaoke songs.
Cody, as someone with a younger child, and for all of our listeners and viewers who have families and they come here. Would you say that all of the restaurants are really open to families? Are they family oriented?
I think so. I mean, my daughter has grown up in restaurants, so there's not many she can't go to, because that's part of her personality at this point. But I don't think there's a restaurant in town that I wouldn't take my daughter in with me, even if she wasn't who she is.
Okay.
Even Suds Pub or Matterhorn.
Suds is very welcoming and nice.
Yeah.
Matterhorn's a lot. I mean, Matterhorn is mostly kids after ski.
Yeah.
Anyway, from the menu that they offer to all the rest, even in the bar areas, it's comfortable. It's very kid friendly.
What else do you love about this area for families?
Obviously, the bowling alley helps. That's one that's good because you can send the kids off to the arcade and the adults can enjoy themselves as well. The summers here are actually really cool because floating down the Androscoggin on the tubes is a lot of fun. The guys over here, what's the name? Out the campground.
Bethel Outdoor Adventure.
Bethel Outdoor Adventure is awesome because they have the sluice there, which is really cool. So kids can go out and do that outdoors.
They can pan for the gems.
Yeah, and you can do it
cool.
right here at the gym theater, which is incredible. I mean, my daughter, if we have time any day, she's willing to go to the gym theater and just run around and enjoy it. She'll never get tired of it, which is really cool. If we can touch the Mars rock and the moon rock at the same time, why wouldn't you?
You mean the gem
museum.
Gym. Yeah.
I was like,
sorry.
wait.
That's okay.
Yeah.
The Mineral and Gem Museum. That's okay. Yeah.
It is pretty amazing to think that the collection of gemstones and moon rocks is the largest in the country.
My engagement ring is a
Oh,
Bethel
no way.
tourmaline.
It's
awesome.
phenomenal to think it's in this little town in western Maine to have that amazing thing right there.
That museum is spectacular.
Okay.
100%.
But to the real gym theater, though, they do a great job too.
Yeah, that is true.
There were 3 screens, and the BAM version of their arch is like getting young kids on stage, which is really cool too.
Okay.
And that's definitely a large part of the community that's really nice to have.
Awesome.
So as we're heading into the peak winter season, I know we're all of the same mind to encourage folks, if they're heading up or back down off the mountain, to make sure that they plan to come into the heart of the village of Bethel. There's just a lot to see, do, eat, drink, museums, inns that you can walk to everything. So I hope people take the time to do that, not just on the weekends, but there's always something to do midweek as well. Great food, great drink, great music. And yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show. You're not quite done. We're going to have a lightning round in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsors. A big thank you and congratulations to Saddleback Mountain. They were just named the #1 ski resort in the East by Ski Magazine, and if you've been up there lately, you know why. Incredible terrain, a great community vibe, and year-round mountain fun. Whether you're skiing, riding, or just hanging out on the deck, Saddleback is the place to be. We also want to thank Harcourt Waterfront and Fine Properties. They specialize in exceptional homes across the Maine coast and lakes region, pairing global reach with true local expertise. And thank you to Morton & Furbish Vacation Rentals. Whether you want a cozy camp or a high-end home on the lake, they're the go-to team in the mountains. They make it easy to plan a stay that feels just right for your trip. All right, we're back for the final few fun questions. We want you to say the first thing that comes into your head. You don't have to explain. Vanessa, do you want to go first?
Sure. I have 2 questions. These are yes or no's. Is it acceptable to order a Bloody Mary in the evening?
Yes.
No.
I only say yes for my wife because she does it.
But you actually think no?
Yeah, I think no.
Okay. Is it personally acceptable, in your opinion, to order a steak well done in a restaurant?
Ew.
That's a no.
Okay, I'm done.
Those are great. All right. What is the most popular drink at Mountain Social right now?
Pineapple Express.
I actually think you're wrong.
It's a lightning round. So
I know. Sorry.
I'm not crunching the number.
Give me a second. Yeah, I'll just say Pineapple Express.
All right. Chef, what is your favorite ingredient to cook with in the winter?
Squash.
The entire meal except the last bite has been consumed by a guest. They send it back to the kitchen. Full refund or no full refund?
You make them eat it.
No. I mean, it depends, but I would say no if they ate the whole thing. Yeah.
I've seen it done.
There's got to be an explanation. You have to know why it was all that last bite, right?
Lightning round.
Lightning round. Can't go on this. All right. Who is more opinionated, the tourists or the staff?
Ooh.
Depends on which restaurant.
All right. For Mountain Social.
For Mountain Social, the tourist.
Yeah, I would agree.
I wouldn't say tourist. I would say customer.
Yeah,
because we do get a lot of people who come back. So if the question was customer, I would just be customer rather than tourist.
Okay.
Leary's would be the staff, and Project Social
Staff.
is definitely staff.
That's fun now. I alternate.
It's based on age. That's why.
Oh my God.
Our younger group is a little more opinionated.
All right. Final two questions. Which job would you never let Brian do?
Bartend. I'd be out of booze.
Oh.
Final question. If your daughter ran things for a day, what would she change first?
Uniforms.
Oh, they would have to wear uniforms?
Yeah, she loves uniforms. It's like her thing. She wants to have uniforms at school, like at her school. That's what she wants to implement as uniforms.
That's great.
That is a fabulous answer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find you here in Bethel, both in person? What's your address, and where can they find you online?
In Bethel, 43 Main Street is where Mount Social is. And then, what was the other question? Online.
And on Instagram.
Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram at Social Bethel. And then also info@socialbethel.com is our email address. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef.
Of course.
Thank you. Yay.
All done.
Thank you.
That was good.